All right, everybody, please let us know if there are any technical issues. We are working behind the scenes in addition to being the ones in the film. So please let us know if there are any issues, and we will get right on those. But we would like to, without further ado, welcome all of you to the premiere of our film on the Fitnessgram. This is really quite exciting.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to everybody. Thank you for showing up. The film festival is usually a great time to kind of get together and see everyone's faces, but we can't do that this year. Still means a lot that you guys are, here to kind of enjoy the film with everybody. So thank you for coming, and we hope you enjoy.
All right, so just give us a quick moment while we prep. All right, it appears to me on the stream that you're not able to see us, which we will fix that issue, but we'll do that behind the scene and wait for the Q&A later to do that. So we are going to go away, or at least our disembodied voices will, and enjoy the film. Thank you guys so much. Hi, my name's Toby.
And I'm Dante.
Chances are, if you're a student in a New York City public school, you've heard this.
The Fitnessgram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test.
The Fitnessgram is an annual mandate of school districts across the country and around the world which measures the fitness of elementary, middle, and high school students. At the beginning of each school year, students complete tests involving sit-ups, push-ups, curl-ups, trunk lifts, sit-and reaches, and most famous of all, the Pacer.
While most of these tests are self-explanatory, the Pacer test is unique to the Fitnessgram and involves running back and forth across a gym at a constantly increasing pace, running as long as possible until you can't make it across before the signal. The scores from all these tests are combined and sent home in the form of a fitness report card.
Since the Fitnessgram is mandated and often, hated, it has become an icon in the culture of schools which complete it. Tons of memes have been made, as well as edits of the instruction tapes, and students from around the world have memorized the instructions for the Pacer test.
The Fitnessgram Pacer test
is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test
that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
On your mark, get ready, start. And then some weird music.
A memory I have taking the Fitnessgram is people trying to walk out or successfully walking out.
The Fitnessgram Pacer test is what I'm assuming was a punishment at Guantanamo Bay.
I don't remember it being very accurate, but I do have fun memories of it.
Personally, I compare it to The Myth of Sisyphus by Camus.
I was running the Pacer test. I actually heard students remarking that I ran like a gazelle.
Today our goal is to find out who is the person that narrates the Pacer test.
Dante and I sat down and got to work. We did our best to find out who the voice could be, but after hours of searching, all we had found were some rumors and dead ends. It seemed like nobody knew who the voice was, and if they did, they certainly didn't want to reveal it.
Eventually, we decided it would be best to reach out to the creators of the Fitnessgram themselves, the Cooper Institute. Done.
Boom, skidoosh. Alright, we'll send this email and see what they respond.
Sounds good. Alright, so we just received the holy grail, the email that every filmmaker wants to read.
The email that ends all emails, one which says that they are interested in it.
Yes, so apparently the higher-ups of the higher-ups want to collaborate with us on this. So we're going to try to get the inside scoop on what's going on at the Cooper Institute.
Dante and I were ecstatic. Over the next week, we were in constant communication with the head of public relations at the Cooper Institute, and eventually, we decided to have a chat over the phone.
After school ended, we found a soundproof office and started to prepare for the call. Toby was freaking out and I was calm and collected, but we knew that this call would make or break the documentary.
This is Amber.
Hi, it's Dante and Toby. We're from the Beacon School. We emailed about filming a documentary.
Yes, how are you?
We're good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Alright, so I'll tell you a couple things. For starters, okay, I don't know who the guy is. I'd have to do a little bit of research internally to find out.
Okay.
So I'll have to ask around and talk to some people who've been here a significant amount of time and find out who that guy is. They've been using that voice forever.
I know, it's very iconic.
It is, and it's changing. We've already redone the entire pacer test cadence.
Wow.
And we're piloting it with a school here in Frisco, ISD right now.
Oh, man.
And we are planning on launching it in, I think, end of April. We're planning on launching the new one. It's a big collaboration with Hip Hop Public Health, so it's going to have a lot fresher. It's going to be completely different.
We had no idea it would be such a great time to make a pacer test documentary. All right, perfect. Thank you
so much.
Okay. All right.
All right, take care. Bye. Title: The voice of the Fitnessgram pacer test is going away.
And soon enough, Amber came through for us. Just a few days later, we sat down to interview the mysterious, yet incredibly famous voice of the Fitnessgram.
Are we doing this?
We're doing it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yo.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello there. Do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great.
There's the voice.
Yeah, the Fitnessgram pacer test. Hi, my name is Roger Francisco, and I'm the original voice of the pacer test. And I'm currently retired from Human Kinetics after 20 years of being the audio services manager there. What can I do for you?
So just a little bit of context. Since Toby and I were in like 3rd grade, I want to say, every year we've heard your voice for the Fitnessgram pacer test, and the rest of the Fitnessgram as well, which is equally iconic as it is stress-inducing.
I understand. Yeah, I get a lot of that.
Yeah, so we just really wanted to meet you.
Well, kind of my professional life has been pretty circuitous. Kind of one thing leads to another. I started out coming to the University of Illinois in engineering. I was going to be an electrical engineer. Okay, I'd also had been a musician. I was in a high school orchestra, played bass, symphony bass, and in the Springfield Symphony Orchestra there. And when I moved over here, signed up with the Musicians Union, and then I would get somebody needed a bass player, they call a union. Oh, okay, I'll fill in for that, and I got involved with several groups. And with one group, we had a chance to be in about 1960 or so. Rock group I was with got a small recording contracts. We had the opportunity to go down to Nashville, record in one of the studios there. I thought, man, this is really cool stuff. Because I'd worked in a radio station during high school. In fact, I had to get a permit from the state to work there at age 14. So I got more interested because I was going to be a radio announcer back then. That was really cool. But I got really interested with the guys on the other side of the glass. As I came to the University of Illinois, I got a hook up with a fellow I'd worked with at the radio station, had transferred over to the university PBS station. Or it wasn't PBS then, it was called National Educational Television. And so I got a job running audio there for their programming. That became my interest in that. And with the group I recorded in Nashville, I thought, man, this is pretty cool. I could put something together and maybe write some songs and get those going. So I put a little, very small thing in my basement in the house that I was living at the time. And then I start recording some stuff, and other groups say, hey, you've got a recording setup. Can we record some demos? Well, sure, come on in. I ended up setting up, doing more and more of those groups, and got a deal with the pressing company in Chicago. Oh, here's a package. You come in and record songs and get 145 records for $100. somebody said, well, could you record some radio commercials? Well, sure, I guess so. I could do that and bring some people in. And then I just started doing, well, I'll go ahead and read some of this stuff. So I started recording lots of commercials, and because I had the studio, well, you could record a jingle. Okay, we can do that. And so that kind of led, and I just outgrew the house. And so I got a place to renovate, and eventually built up into a multi-track studio there and recorded a lot of the groups from around here in Illinois. So I got a call from the local McDonald's store. Hey, come in and look at our advertising. Okay, I guess I could do that. So I went over there and ended up doing the whole regional McDonald's advertising, radio commercials, newspaper ads, even the Ronald McDonald appearances. I had the sax player in one of my bands did a great Ronald McDonald, so we would have those over the area, all the way from Springfield to Danville. From that, we went into partnership with the local newspaper, and at that point, Human Kinetics became our number one client. That was our highest grossing client. So for about 6 years, we were doing that, and Reiner Martin, who's the founder and owner of it, kept wanting us, why don't you guys come over here? They were using a print producer as a video producer, and so they have a new one every year because they just don't get it. Print and video is something different. So he finally made us an offer we couldn't refuse in about mid-90s. So we came over there, and he said, well, how much do you want? Wrote down that, okay. What kind of equipment do you need? Long list. Okay, come over here, go ahead and order it. And so we did. With Human Kinetics, it was just a pacer test, and it was just, I did that, and then it was out there. And then a couple of years ago, somebody put me on, and I'd never even looked about it. Hey, man, you're all over the internet. What are you talking about? So, haven't you seen the memes for the pacer test? What's a meme? I started looking at those, and it's amazing how many of those things are on there. Mostly the SpongeBob SquarePants. I didn't really realize the impact until somebody told me to look at the memes. It's a project I did back then, put it together, and then went on to the next ones. And I knew that, my grandkids had run in, oh yeah, we had to do this at school. And as I mentioned, the other kids not believing my grandkids that was their grandpa reading the pacer test. And I've, for your other question, no, I have not tried to do the pacer test. I would have to slow it way down. The Fitnessgram pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get ready, start.
Shivers.
Yes! Oh my God, that was so exciting.
That was the best way you could have done it. I was about to ask you to do it.
I know. How long can you say up, down, up, down for 20 minutes? Actually, I only recorded it once and then just dropped it in all the way through the timeline. I'm sorry if you're traumatized by the test. If I was just doing a job reading, it's not my fault. But no, just there must be a purpose for it, so try your best with it.
So, just who is responsible for the Fitnessgram, and what is its purpose? Just as we were getting closer to understanding this infamous test, everything came crashing down.
The deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
The governor confirming that coronavirus has arrived here in Manhattan. Mayor de Blasio announced all New York City public schools will be closed for the next 5 weeks.
New York City public schools will remain closed for the remainder of this school year.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey,
How you doing?
Toby. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. This is a little bit different, definitely.
Unexpected for sure. But this is how we're doing things now, I guess.
Yeah, the rest of the documentary, we're going to be screen recording and figuring this out. But it'll be interesting. I think we can still make it work. So you spoke with Amber, who's our contact at the Cooper Institute, which is kind of crazy. We took a break, and I wasn't sure if she was going to respond, but you had a phone call with her.
Yeah. A lot of new information. So first, we thought we were going to get this interview with this guy, The Voice. All right, so that's our big thing. Turns out she's getting us, or trying to get us, some other interviews as well. This guy, Dr. Charles Sterling, who's the so-called father of the Fitnessgram.
All right, that's
he's kind of like a celebrity within that company. Also, they've been partnering with Hip Hop Public Health.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so the CEO of that company, supposedly super excited to do an interview with us. We're kind of popular over there.
Oh my God.
And, maybe we can get an interview with the artists.
Dude, that's amazing. And she just kind of dropped this bomb.
Yeah, very casually, I might add. We were just talking. She goes, oh, by the way, yeah, like 5 more interviews we can do.
Not only were we back on track, we had more interviews to conduct. So Dante and I sat down with Dr. Charles Sterling and Dr. Mary Lou Meredith, 2 figures who were instrumental in the creation and growth of the Fitnessgram, to learn more about the origins of the test.
My name is Charles Sterling.
My name's Mary Lou Meredith.
I am 75 years young, and people often comment that I was the father of Fitnessgram.
I worked in the school district in Richardson for 10 years, and then I followed Dr. Sterling out to the Cooper Institute to begin working on Fitnessgram, and I was the director of Fitnessgram for 30 some odd years.
I think it's important to take away from this. I started Fitnessgram. I did the first one, and of course it's gone crazy. But there's so many other people that's been on this team. This is not about me.
Dr. Sterling was a very creative person. He thought out of the box. He was the brains behind the operation. I did all the work. But he was also a very good negotiator, and he's the one that would negotiate the contracts with the sponsors.
We had this really strong sponsorship team that continued to carry it forward. Let me mention what was different back then in the old day. There wasn't a lot of priority given to physical education.
Now, a lot of people exercise on a regular basis, whereas used to, you didn't find gyms on every corner years ago.
Obesity in youth began to become obvious, and that happened about the same time as fast food stores began to open up. That's when we became very motivated and decided to get a team together and start talking about health-related fitness.
We kind of rode along on the coattails of the whole cultural shift in more of an emphasis on being active and exercising and being healthy and taking responsibility for your own health.
And once it got to the parents, they said, gee, I want to see if my son or daughter is in a healthy zone.
The focus on health-related fitness was really what separated us. Most all the other assessments were really focused on high-level performance.
That's what it used to be, is competing athletically with fellow students. And that's where we got away from that. And we got data and said, okay, if you can do the pacer or the mile run in this time, we scientists believe that you're in the healthy zone. You're healthy. Now, if you can't do that, you needs improvement. And that's what we would say, you needs improvement. So you're either in the healthy zone or you needs improvement. But it's not like, oh, I'm the fastest in the class. I'm so good. I'm going to be on the track team because I'm athletic.
I was not an athlete. I was a dancer. So I think the fact that we were focused on health-related fitness, we set the standards so that they were achievable by most students who were active on a regular basis. That really attracted me.
So many principals of schools would say we want that program. So we're going to get it next year. Yeah. We hear from the adults saying, "Do you have something for us like this?"
If you had taken a fitness test and the only way you could feel like you had been successful was to achieve this high-level standard, you probably never, ever would have felt like you were successful in that test. But with Fitnessgram, with the standards set the way they are, if you're willing to be active, then you should be able to achieve those minimal standards. And that's all we ask of you. Usually, we used to tell them, once you get to the standard or somewhere, within the healthy fitness zone, stop your test. Don't keep it going forever and ever and ever for one kid to max it out. I think the main thing they need to learn from taking the Fitnessgram or from taking any fitness assessment is, one, I hope that they are being able to be successful in taking that test. And that the thing they need to learn from all of their physical education experiences is that they need to be active on a regular basis the rest of their life.
When you have your health, you can do a lot of things. Keep believing and keep health as a major priority in your life.
It's all about the physical activity. So much more so than it is about their fitness level. It's about the physical activity.
It'll work. Way to go, guys. I'm really proud of you.
Now that we had met some of the incredible people behind the classic Fitnessgram, we interviewed Lori Benson, the CEO of Hip Hop Public Health, to learn more about the new, remixed version of the test.
Hi, my name is Lori Rose Benson, and I'm the Executive Director and CEO of Hip Hop Public Health. I also used to be the Executive Director of the Office of School Wellness Programs for the New York City Department of Education.
Quick side note here, Lori Benson actually played a key role in bringing the Fitnessgram to New York City in the first place.
I've always wanted to have a little bit of a different soundtrack from 20 years ago. And so to see this come to fruition has just been so much fun.
So, what does everyone think about this new cadence?
I will start this pacer test track for you guys so y'all can have a listen to it and see what y'all think.
It's now time to assess aerobic capacity with the Fitnessgram 20-meter pacer test.
So who's ready to get active? The goal is to complete as many laps as possible by running across the line before you hear each sound.
The running speed will slowly go faster each time you hear this signal.
There's a catch, though.
The lap doesn't count if your body doesn't cross the line before you hear this sound.
Do your best.
Have fun.
Are you ready?
Get set.
Go!
Fitness and fun. We're going to concentrate on it.
Okay.
Fitness and fun. Why not?
1.
Here we go. I see.
I can see the demographic for that. Exactly. So, yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
The beat of that music is very strong.
Makes me want to put my shoes on.
And what's fun is that there's 2 mostly instrumental tracks where we took out the laps and the levels and the beeps. So it's almost like a party. So it's a 22-minute long progressive dance party. You could use that for young people to get socialized to the music. You could use it for a party. You could use it for any kind of fitness activity. I think right now there's like a great opportunity to reimagine and reinvent, right? And I think the more positive associations we can have with physical activity, the more people will embrace physical activity in their lives when they're not in school, right? And so I'm really excited to hear what young people have to say about the new Pacer remix.
The Fitnessgram is an icon of pop culture, and while it may be changing, it will never lose its significance in the lives of the students who completed it throughout their childhoods. The Fitnessgram started a health revolution, and it ensures that our youngest generation is staying healthy, all while making it as fun as possible.
The Fitnessgram is poised to see a new wave of interest with its updated tracks and increased availability, and we were so incredibly lucky to be some of the first students to see these changes. Who knows, maybe a new wave of memes and edits are on their way. We'll just have to wait and see.
All right. So that was pretty intense. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was freaked out for that entire thing. That was a very fun experience. Dante, do you have any comments on that?
I told you, I said it in the documentary, I'm always calm and collected.
Yes, indeed. All right. So it was really fun, but don't leave yet. We have a Q&A that's coming up. So here's what we're going to do. We are on a 30-second delay, so we might not see your questions right away, but throw some questions into the chat. Dante and I are going to pick some of our favorites. We are going to answer some questions that were not answered in the film, and we are so excited that you guys got to see this. So just drop some of those questions in there, ask us whatever you want, and we'll get to them. All right. While we wait, Dante, do you have any interesting stories that we would like to discuss?
Yeah, I brought this up to Roger, who's the voice. We're on a first name basis now.
Yes, okay.
We're not. But I think my best experience with the Pacer test was one year where my score just absolutely spiked. We were super thrilled about it. I was like, what the heck? How did that happen? Turns out we were actually running the wrong version of the test. I think our gym is 20 or 15 meters. We were running the 20-meter version.
Mm-hmm.
So completely false score. Did not count at all. But I did feel pride for the few days that I thought that was legitimate.
That's great. Good for you. All right, hold on. I am just going to set up a couple things. I know that everybody can see my mouse on screen. That's just because I don't normally do this. This is not my job. I just figured this out.
You don't.
Once again, guys, like I said, any questions at all, we want to answer some stuff because I'll be completely honest. I think that if we could do this the full length, if we didn't have a time limit, that would have been an hour-long documentary. So
yeah,
please throw some questions in.
We had I got to say 7 hours of full footage of these interviews. They went out. Yeah, they went out for a very long time.
We have a full Google Drive of all of this footage. All right, so I'm going to pick out the first question from Claudia Gordiak. I'm going to pretend like we don't know each other, but hi, Claudia. So the question is, would you say there was an ironic tone to the documentary? I'll take the first stab at answering this. And I honestly think that when we started, yes, there was a little bit of an ironic tone because we were we're doing it for the joke. We're doing it for the meme. We're doing it for the fact that it's just this thing. But once we realized that the Cooper Institute was actually super interested in doing this and that they're a nonprofit that doesn't have the capability to make videos, and they were just so into it. And once we realized that, I think that it became a much more serious thing where we were like, oh, we can make this real.
Yeah, I'll tell you kind of what turned me into making this a very serious documentary. Like Toby, I went into this thinking, okay, we got to find this guy. I've been listening to his voice for all these years. I think it was our interview with Dr. Mary Lou Meredith, who was the director of the Fitnessgram, who said, and we cut this out of the film, but she said, do you guys have any idea the alternatives you could be doing aside from the Pacer test and the Fitnessgram? And that kind of opened my eyes. I think any kind of physical activity to me is daunting, but we're certainly taking one of the best possible options out there. So I think that kind of warmed me to the whole idea of Fitnessgram.
Yeah, I'll also just toss into that Dr. Meredith asked us, "Are you guys athletes?" And we both just vigorously shook our head, and she was like, "That's why we have the pacer, because not everybody's an athlete."
All right, let's see. We've got another question here from Mukilat. Was Roger who you thought he would be? I'll just say this. Roger was everything I thought he'd be and more. This is the man that I aspired to be in I don't know how many years. I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, I guess I honestly wasn't thinking that he was going to be in his 80s, but I'm so glad that he was, because he had so much incredible experience. And I also just want to add, again, another sort of behind-the-scenes, peek behind the curtain sort of thing. He gave us a tour of his house after we had that interview, and the man has hundreds of DVDs and a screening room in his house, so he's 100% cool in my book.
The most beautiful home theater I've ever seen, truly.
Truly.
Another thing that we had to cut out was just something interesting you might want to know. It's just Roger's actually the one who compiled the music for the test. So he had this huge bulk music license, and he just kind of threw these tracks onto the cadence. So if you're wondering like how that music got there, that was all him as well.
All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, so we got how did you come up with this idea? So for people who don't know, which I definitely think is some of the people who might be on here, the Fitnessgram is a huge thing. It is something that I can recite the instruction tapes from scratch, and it is something that I can say to people after I do an exercise, after I work out. I can say, I feel like I just did the pacer test. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's that feeling of like phlegm running down your throat, and you're cold, and you're just not happy. So we really just came up with this. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad. I'm just not athletic. So I do 30 laps of the pacer test and I'm done. But the idea literally just came up. I think I turned to you, Dante, in film class. And I was like, we should make a documentary about the voice of the pacer test. And then we did nothing for 3 months and then realized we should do that.
I think there was just a mutual agreement. It was like that time of school where the pacer test you don't think about a year round, but there's like a week in the fall where you're just like, okay, or in the winter where you're just like, this is all I have to think about because it's coming up. So it was around that week I was kind of in that line of thinking where I'm like, I keep hearing this guy's voice. Who is it? And this brilliant idea to kind of figure out who this guy was came up. We thought it was going to be easy.
Oh, yeah. We both went home that night and spent like 2 hours Googling, and we're like, this is going to be fine. No dice.
Yeah. A lot of leads out there, but nothing concrete. So that's why it was just insane to get to meet him. Let's see. What was the most unexpected or surprising thing you all learned during the filming process? Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll just say remote filmmaking is so much more difficult than being in the editing bay.
I mean, this is not about the Fitnessgram, but yes, we were literally finishing editing this morning, just so everybody knows, to be clear.
Transparency. Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of in the film lab, if Toby notices something, he'd just be like, oh, could you kind of cut that down? Yeah, I can do that in 2 seconds. When it's remote, it's like, okay, I'll cut that down and now take 2 hours to export that and, send it to you. It's a whole process, but, we're just happy this thing came together.
I think the interesting things that I learned about the Fitnessgram just in general, which, I mean, this is like the most basic thing and everybody at the Cooper Institute is going to be laughing at me, but I thought it was a New York City thing that was like created by New York City, which I think everybody does, so don't hate me. But it was so shocking to me. Seriously, it was so shocking to me that not only is it a national thing, which I sort of assumed that it was a little bit outside of New York State, but it also shocked me that it's international. They do this around the world, and it's really incredible. Okay. I'm going to just mention, before I actually bring in the next question, what's the record for the most push-ups? No clue. Nobody told us. Okay. What do you say to people who may feel inadequate by not doing as well as their peers on this test? Um, I'm going to just say I think that Dr. Sterling and Dr. Meredith said it the best, and that's that the Fitnessgram is not about doing an incredible job. It's not about doing better than anybody else. And that's why, if any gym teachers are watching this, you should shut off the audio as soon as you get into the healthy fitness zone. Because after that, yeah, it does get a little bit competitive. There does get to be some showing off, when really the point of the test is just, can you complete a minimum level of fitness to know that you are healthy?
Yeah, I would also add, there are no winners and losers with the PACER test. It's not zero sum. Everybody is kind of driven to the brink of their physical ability by this test. And so it kind of builds unity where everyone in the class is like, okay, we all have to face this together. So, that's one of the great things about having a cooperative test as opposed to, kind of assigning, okay, who's the best people in the class, the most athletic people, you get recognition, and we kind of shame those who can't aspire to that level.
Yeah.
Let's see. Got another question. What surprised you the most from your interviews? Yeah, that's another great question.
I think everything shocked me. I was sitting there. You couldn't see, you couldn't see the full grid view the whole time because Dante is an incredible editor who did the editing for all the interviews. But the whole time I was sitting there rigid, really? Oh my god, I gotta laugh. I was so nervous, and everything was shocking to me. Everything was shocking to me about how the Campbell Soup Company sponsored the Fitnessgram. It was shocking to me that literally everything.
One thing that I did not expect to happen was I did not expect to have a conversation with the voice of the Fitnessgram PACER test about the Star Wars prequels, which did happen and took up about the same amount of time as our interview. We had a long conversation about the Star Wars prequels and kind of how they fit in. And great, one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Oh yeah, totally. It was just so great.
I also just quickly want to give a huge shout out to Preston Bow, who did all the animations. This guy's a champ. He's just an expert at this thing.
We
he made all the graphics.
Asked him to do those credits with 24 hours.
What a professional. He's just incredible. So huge thanks to him.
Okay, I'm going to take this next one. How challenging was it to get a hold of the voice of the PACER test? So I'm just going to say that little clip in there of us searching was that was nothing. That was, it took us a while. We sent an email to Amber. Again, thank you, Amber, so much. I'm sure that she's watching this, so thank you, Amber. But, we had to do our research. We decided to reach out to the Cooper Institute. Then we had to craft this email. We had to send the email. We had to get in contact with Amber. She didn't know who he was. And it was just this whole thing. It took a very, very long time.
Yeah. Mankind is like a race that kind of triumphs and overcomes challenges. We went to the moon. And I think this is comparable. I think finding the voice of the PACER test, it was not easy. But, it's just another accomplishment that we can add to the long list of what humanity has done.
I think you might be overstating our achievement just a little bit.
Maybe. On the lines of thanking Preston, huge thanks to Amber Freeland as well. We kind of just mentioned she's our contact. That she's actually the whole reason why this documentary is possible. She did so much of the behind the scenes work, and she was just absolutely incredible. So huge thanks to her as well.
I also just want to mention, because I saw another chat come up from the Duck Sauce podcast that asked that question, and just want to say, hey guys, if you want to do a podcast, feel free. Email us, all right? That's all I have to say. Yeah, totally.
Oh, man.
Okay, I also want to acknowledge Amber is here. Thank you so much, Amber. She's the best. And she actually had a question about what we would have included if we had more time. Do you have any?
I want to include everything. I think, but perhaps what I found interesting is not what everyone else would have found interesting. We just had a lot of great small talk conversations. And these are just cool people to talk to. aside from kind of what they've done, like Roger, this man has lived such an incredible life. Same goes for Dr. Sterling, Dr. Mary Lou Meredith, and Lori as well. I mean, they're just such great people.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to work with everybody, and I will add that Dr. Sterling was amazing. He actually is a rapper.
Oh, right.
We didn't mention
right.
this because we didn't know, but he has Parkinson's, and so he makes rap videos about this, and that was just incredible to he is fully involved and fully interested in the health of everybody regarding everything, and that was just so amazing. They're not just focused on the Fitnessgram. They, at least Dr. Sterling, just wants everybody to be healthy, and that was just so incredible. All right, do we have anything else?
Let's see. Let's see a question. What other ideas do you have for future films, Toby?
Well, Dante, you're going away to college, so if we do any more collaborations, it's going to be more remote editing, which, as we learned, is very
even more remote. Yeah.
I will say that I don't necessarily have any plans for documentaries coming up. I am working on a couple of films. Personally, a narrative film about a grandmother mafia. You can learn more about that if I ever get a chance to make it when we come out of lockdown. But honestly, I think I don't want to speak for both of us, but my thing is, if I come up with an interesting idea for a film, expect to see it in 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. I think this is an idea I brought up to Toby very early on in the process. I think the next big question I'm trying to solve through filmmaking is how many licks does it take to get to the center of Tootsie Pop? And I think that nobody, spends time on that question. So that's something that I will be doing research on.
You just had to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, and like Toby said, 6 to 8 months. That may very well be how long it takes to get to the center.
Honestly,
so it may be even longer.
I think that's our next film. Like, legitimately, that's what we're doing over the summer, right?
You know where to find me.
Yes, I do. All right, let's see. We are going to just answer a few more questions, and then we'll sort of just cut this off at 8 o'clock. But, we really want to answer all your guys' questions. We have a question from Preston. Thank you again, Preston. Asking which Fitnessgram tests are our favorite and least favorite. I will say
a great question.
That just an anecdote, and again, this is not saying anything bad about the Cooper Institute, but when I was in middle school, we had to take the PACER test 4 times a year, and in like the second or third time that we did it in my 6th grade year, I had a total meltdown, refused to do it. So I think you can probably assume that I don't like the PACER test.
For me, easiest test, height and weight, by far. Bam, I'm there. I do it. Takes like 5 seconds,
but you gotta
and I'm
take your
done.
shoes off. You gotta take your shoes off. You gotta step
taking
on the
your
scale.
shoes off. It's a
and
lot
then
of
you have
work.
to remember how much you weigh and how tall you are. That's like, honestly, when you think about it, that's like the most difficult one.
It's mentally taxing, but physically, perfect. My least favorite, probably the trunk lift. I don't know what it does. I don't know why it exists, and I dislike it. I don't like doing it.
I have no problem with the trunk lift, man. I mean, I'm not flexible at all, so that's probably why, but I don't know, I'm fine with it.
It's a weird movement.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's so weird. Okay. Let's see, we got anything else here?
This is a question. Knowing what you both now know of the PACER test, would you be willing to take another go at it with less trepidation? That's a fantastic question.
It really
Toby mentioned I'm going off to college. I think before I made the doc, I was overjoyed to not have to take the test again. Now I'm slightly like, okay, I'm gonna miss it a little. But yeah, I'll take a go at that.
I will say one of the things that I'm actually looking the most forward to next year, and why I'm like fingers crossed that we actually do go back to school in September, is because I want to do the PACER test with that new track. I'm going to be completely honest with everybody here. I'm not like the most active person, but yesterday, after Dante and I had a long call about this documentary, I booted up Spotify, queued up the new soundtrack without the laps and just did a workout to that. And it's so good and so motivating. So honestly, both knowing what I know about the Patriot Test, but also knowing that there's going to be this new motivating, really incredible track in the future, I'm actually excited to do it, and I'm hoping to get more than like 30 next year.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that's on Spotify already under like Pacer Test remixes. It's already there.
Oh
So
yeah,
if
it's
you,
already there.
yeah.
I've been listening to it all the time. If you're friends with me on Spotify, you probably just see it scrolling the whole time.
All right. Well, I think that's all.
Yeah. So I really just want to say, I gotta say this, and I keep cutting you off because I'm the star of the show. No. But I just want to say to everybody that is here, thank you so much for joining us. We are actually going to keep doing some more work on this documentary. We're hoping to tune it up a little bit and release it in like a full final version over the summer. But none of this could have happened without Amber, without the people at the Cooper Institute, without our amazing, incredible film teacher, Kate Reed. And also none of it could have happened without you guys. I know that a lot of people that are watching this right now had to deal with us just like saying, I can't do anything right now, I'm editing, or I can't do anything, I'm working on a documentary. So this was a really incredible and so much fun. And to everybody that's here, just thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rare to get, everyone to come together around these times. So it really means a lot that you guys showed up. We hope that we're able to kind of entertain you for a little bit. We hope that you will, next time you run the Pacer Test, will kind of think about Roger Francisco just relaxing in his home theater, enjoying Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much. And I'm just going to promote one other thing. On Friday, the amazing Beacon Film music videos are going to be premiering on this same channel. So if you want to see some amazing music videos, you can join us again on Friday. But I think that pretty much does it. So once again, thank you guys so much. And can't wait to see you guys around.
Yeah. All right, take care, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.